Mr. Ose was the richest man in town, feared by many, respected by all. But behind his riches lay a deep desire for something money could never buy: a family legacy. Despite his immense wealth, he and his wife, Aqua, had no children. And for Ose, without an heir, his fortune meant nothing. Aqua lived in unimaginable wealth, but her life was far from perfect. Beneath the flawless image of the perfect wife lay a secret resentment, a bitterness toward her husband's obsession with wealth and power. She longed for a simple life, a family, a child of her own. Yet every day her heart grew colder, and her resentment toward Ose deepened. Kwabena had once worked for Mr. Ose as a driver, but his dreams of making it big were crushed when Ose fired him over a petty mistake. He swore to get back at the man who had ruined his life and stolen his chances. Kwabena believed that money and power were his by right, and if he couldn't earn them, he would take them. Essie was known as the jewel of the town. Her beauty was unmatched. Every man desired her, but her heart belonged to Kwabena. Despite their love, her life was about to be turned upside down by forces beyond her control, forces tied to Aqua's desperate quest for a child. In a town where tradition and superstition ruled, the local priestess held all the answers. People came from far and wide to seek her guidance, believing she could grant their deepest desires or curse them with their greatest fears. And it was to her that Aqua and Ose would soon turn, hoping for a solution to their childless home. Aqua had tried everything, but no remedy, no doctor, no prayer had worked. So she sought the priestess, hoping that the old woman could grant her the child she and Ose longed for. But Aqua would soon learn that wishes come at a cost, one she would have to pay dearly for. Kwabena's bad feelings toward Ose had grown over the years. He hated that the man had everything: wealth, power, and now, the ear of the town's most respected priestess. As he and Isai sat by the river, he confided in her his darkest thoughts. He would take back what Ose had stolen from him. And he would do it soon. That night, Aqua had realistic dreams of a child, a boy, strong and healthy. She believed the priestess had begun her work, but what she didn't realize was that the child she would soon hold wouldn't be hers. It would belong to Isi. Kwabena's hatred for Ose had grown over the years, and now he could barely contain it. Watching Ose parade his wealth through the streets, while Kwabena and Isi lived humbly, only fueled his desire for revenge. He knew that soon, their paths would cross in a way that would change everything. Isi's life had become a quiet one. Though she loved Kwabena, she couldn't shake the feeling that their lives were about to be turned upside down. Her heart grew heavier with each passing day, and she felt a strange distance between her and the man she loved. The priestess had warned Ose and Aqua that their wishes came at a cost. The spirits were restless, and soon they would demand payment. But Ose, blinded by his own desires, had ignored her warnings. Now the time of reckoning was near. Aqua, driven by desperation and greed, had learned of Isi's extraordinary beauty and saw it as another way to gain wealth. She knew that selling Isi's hair to the town's most elite salons would bring in riches. In the dead of night, she made her move, cutting the young woman's hair while she slept. When Isi woke up and saw what had been done to her, she felt her world shatter. Her beauty, the one thing that had given her joy, was taken from her. She had no idea who had done it, but the pain cut deep. Ose's wealth and status had made him untouchable, or so he thought. Little did he know, Kwabena was watching him closely, plotting his next move. The tension between the two men was building, and soon it would reach a breaking point. Isi had been keeping a terrible secret. Though she loved Kwabena, she had fallen into the arms of another man, Ose. And now she was carrying his child. The guilt and shame weighed heavily on her heart, but she knew that sooner or later, the truth would come out. Kwabena had sensed something was wrong. Isi had become distant, and there were whispers in the town, rumors that she had been seeing Ose in secret. He didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was becoming too hard to ignore. Jose believed he had it all: wealth, power, and now a secret affair with the town's most beautiful woman. But his arrogance blinded him to the chaos he was about to unleash. Little did he know, his actions would lead to a scandal that would tear the town apart. The priestess had warned Jose and Aqua that their wishes came at a cost. The spirits were restless, and soon they would demand payment. But Jose, blinded by his own desires, had ignored her warnings. Now the time of reckoning was near. Aqua had gotten what she wanted: riches beyond her wildest dreams. But with each passing day, the weight of her actions pressed heavier on her soul. She had stolen from Isi, not just her beauty but her dignity. And soon she would pay the price. Word of the affair between Jose and Isi had begun to spread, and the town was buzzing with gossip. The scandal was too juicy to ignore, and soon everyone knew the truth. But the worst was yet to come. Kwabena had finally confronted Issy about the rumors, and the truth came spilling out. She was pregnant, and the child wasn't his. The betrayal cut him deeply, but what hurt even more was that it was Jose, the man he despised, who had fathered the child. Jose, who once believed that his wealth and charm could win him anything, now faced the reality of his actions. As he stood in front of Kwabena, the brother whose trust he had broken, Jose's heart raced. He had betrayed not just his brother, but the very principles of family and love. Kwabena, though wounded, held his ground, refusing to be swayed by the riches that had once captivated him. Jose, once respected and admired, now stood in the middle of the town, a shadow of his former self. The weight of the affair, the pregnancy, and the whispers of the town dragged him down. He had gained everything but lost it all in the blink of an eye. Essie, carrying the weight of her choices, left the town behind. Her beauty and charm had brought her nothing but sorrow. As she walked away from everything she once knew, she realized that the riches and desires of the world had only led her down a path of heartache. Kwabena, though hurt by Issy's betrayal, had learned a valuable lesson. He knew now that true wealth wasn't found in gold or riches, but in love, loyalty, and self-respect. And though the road ahead would be difficult, he was determined to move forward with a heart free from envy.
This is just one of the many tales that lie hidden in the shadows. If you want to hear more stories like this, subscribe to African Mystic Folktales.